Hey, Schmagmagob, it's me, Dr. F. And with me is.
Hold on. I think you're going to hear it this week. Did it
What'd you,
work?
what'd you do?
Somebody left. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Somebody left a comment on the Facebook page saying that there's a setting I probably have on that's like a noise reduction thing. So it doesn't pick up, like, when I set my beer down or do something like that. And that's why it wasn't picking that up. So,
Well, I picked it up this week.
yeah, I'm going to leave it on low. Let's see how it works. Maybe it's something I got to, leave it for the crack and then go back. But anyway, I'm Wadzilla. What's up, guys?
And Ian, look who's here with us.
Oh yeah, star-studded event, years in the making. Literally, this episode, the one and only, the golden throat from Decibel Geek, Aaron Camaro.
And let me tell you something, Aaron Camaro, I wore this especially for you. The best of the Kiss solo albums.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the best 4 Kiss solo albums right there.
I like it. I like it.
That goes for Aaron Camaro. His favorite album of all time.
All time. And let me give it a shot.
Oh
yeah.
I heard it.
All right, good. That's the best way to test your audio for if you're a young and upcoming podcaster out there. Crack a beer and see how it sounds.
Right on. So Ian,
this is go ahead.
So we're gonna be reviewing it out. Hey, Aaron, you listened to Cyclone Temple? Did you listen to the album?
Cyclone Temple. I thought we were here to review Goblin Cock.
No, that's the post show.
That's what we're gonna do after this show is Goblin.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. If you don't know about that band, look up the album one time. No, I definitely did listen to this, man. And this is going to be fun today. I know we're going to have a good time with this.
Right on. Yeah. And we will discuss the news as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, first, I really want to thank Aaron and even more so the person that this is for, Rich Canamere. He has been so patient. I think he paid for this, like, before we took donations. That's how long this shit's been. But I knew we had to have Aaron be part of this because Rich is somebody who came to us through an appearance I did on Decibel Geek. Decibel Geek's his favorite podcast.
Yeah.
And he heard me guest on the show. He's like, let me check this asshole shit out. And fell in love with our show too. And I thought that was so great because, a lot of we've always preached Decibel Geek. A lot of our fans love your show. And because of how much we talk about you and have you and Chris on, they've checked out your show. We don't get as many crossover ones. I think we offend a good portion of your audience.
At least one. You get at least one.
Yeah.
One download.
So we're going to take this guy and this is something that I kept putting off because the stars had to align right. And so many times we planned to do this and for whatever reason it didn't work out. But I wanted to give him the extra special of having his 2 favorite shows combined, you know. And when I told him that I was going to do this, he was so happy. And he's like, can you do me a favor? Can it just be Aaron? And not Chris? And I said, sure, sure. I can make that happen.
That?
We'll get to that later. Well, we got a lot to talk about Rich later. But, hey, you know what we got to do here? We got to get into the news. So let's do it. Happy to have Aaron here for this.
Hell yeah.
So, first story. John Corabi says he doesn't know when Mick Mars' long-awaited song will see the light of day. And being that you're in Nashville, the Nashville area, Aaron, do you ever see Corabi anymore or Mick Mars? Because they're both in Nashville. Do you ever see them just like at the Piggly Wiggly or anything?
No. The guy that I always seem to cross paths with here in Nashville is Chuck Garrick from the Alice Cooper band. He's the guy I see at the Home Depot, and I want to go up to him and ask him, hey, do you know where there's any good guillotine oil in here? But don't bother him with that bullshit, but I always see him everywhere. John Corabi's got a thing coming up here in Nashville. I know he used to all the time around Christmas time, he would do Toys for Tots, and he would do a show, a benefit deal. You could bring toys and donate them, and you get in for free. And those shows were always awesome. But he's got a thing coming up here in Nashville where it's him and Anthony Quarter from Tora Tora, and I want to say a couple other people doing the show. So yeah, he's around Nashville still, but he's back with the Dead Daisies now, so he's probably not home as much.
Right. Well, just be careful with that Toys for Tots shit, because I went to one of those that Ted Nugent was doing.
Oh, nice.
It was called Toys for Twats. And it turned out to be, it was one of those sting operations, It was a bunch of creepy guys just showing up, looking for kids and stuff, And I got out of there before I got thrown in the paddy wagon, but be careful.
Thankfully, the John Corabi one was nothing like that.
I wouldn't think so. He seems like a stand-up dude. But
well, I'll tell you a funny story. I don't know if this has ever come up on Decibel Geek. It's been years and years ago, but we went to the Toys for Tots thing one time, and it was in this tent, and it was outside. It was cool. John Corabi's up there playing. He's bullshitting in between songs, and I'm in there, and I'm dressed up, and I got my hair and my bandana and stuff, and he stops and he's talking in between stuff. He says, "Hey, look, everybody, it's Axl Rose." And I just instantly kind of yelled back, "What the fuck is this? I thought this was going to be a Vince Neil concert."
Oh,
and that's what he does.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's funny.
I laughed about it, but it was like, because he said it over the microphone, and I'm staying away the hell over there, so I got to kind of yell back.
That's a classic line.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Ian reminded me. Somebody, I did this video a while ago. Somebody donated for me to put Britney Spears' "Hit Me Baby One More Time" versus Van Halen's Vangina's "Balance," and actually Balance won, right? Because the whole time I'm doing this Britney Spears shit, I kept saying, "Dude, I don't feel right listening to this. It feels illegal listening to Britney Spears, right?" Then at the very end of the episode, the dude from Dateline NPC comes in my room to catch a predator shit. I went
to open the door. You're listening to Britney Spears.
Listening to Britney Spears is a criminal offense if you're overage.
It should be, at least.
Well, the same thing. Listen to Van Hagar.
Yeah, but Van Hagar. I mean, actually, believe it or not, Britney got some points. But in the end, I was like, "How the fuck? I know you're doing this for me to like be biased and not give, but how the fuck? At least there's some guitars on this shit.
Right, yeah.
There's songs like Soda Pop, and it's just not right for a grown man to listen to Britney Spears. It's not right. It's not okay, and I deserve to go to jail for that."
Yeah, I bet you felt dirty afterwards.
I did very much.
I got to go take a couple of showers.
I felt like Lee Gerstmann.
Well, speaking of Mick Mars, too, on that story, nobody knows when this, said solo album is going to come out that John Corabi was part of. But now it's been released. Have you guys seen the story?
Uh-oh. Y'all froze.
Like a pedophile ring that Motley Crue members are involved with.
Ian,
this is no bullshit.
Ian, you got to start because it froze.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Anyway,
I can't tell you one thing about the Mick Mars solo album, and I can't tell you who told me, but it was somebody that would definitely know. Told me that there was an original version of the album that once it was finished, Mick Mars says, "I'm not releasing this." And the guy that told me about it was like, "Why? It's really good." And he was like, "No, I'm not releasing it." And he scrapped it and supposedly was supposed to be starting over with something. So whatever the original one was that was already done, he said it'll never come out.
Wow. Well, I'm going to repeat the story. Ralph said I broke up on it. And this is no bullshit, no joke. There was a headline that the attorney that's representing Mick Mars and all of this, his lawsuit against Motley Crue, says that Mick Mars claims that members of Motley Crue are involved in a pedophile ring, like pay to have sex with underage kids. And then this is no, I'm not making a joke here. This is really a headline. You guys can Google this shit and check it out. Mick Mars hasn't come out. They haven't like officially quoted him, but they've quoted his attorney as saying this has been discussed and will be revealed, you know, if this lawsuit goes further.
What?
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. And you know it's Tommy Lee. maybe Nikki, but you know it's definitely Tommy. I don't think Vince cares at this, you know, point. I think he just wants to eat and party. But those other two, woo, you know, that's some pretty fucked up, you know, serious allegations.
Yeah.
And we'll see what comes of that, you know. Maybe he might get paid off real quick after that.
I know Matthew Trippier would never be involved in nonsense like that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just kidding.
He had integrity.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, so fucked up shit going in Motley Crue.
That's messed up.
But there's much more pedophile stuff to come up further in the news. All kinds of sick shit in the news this week.
What?
We'll go next story.
I didn't sign on for this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's real now.
Yeah.
Tim Ripper Owens names Judas Priest song in KK's Priest set that he's never sung before in his life. And that is the song Hell Patrol. And he says that's going to be part of their upcoming tour. Great Priest song. The other thing I didn't like, those, if you read the article, he really slams, you know, it's kind of, you know what he's getting at. He's saying, oh, it's such an easy song to sing, but I've never done it, but it'll be nice to do it properly, you know, unlike what Priest can do right now.
He said that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm kind of like, okay, I get it, you're on Team KK right now, but, you know, in the past, what I always loved about him is he never got involved in the dirt and slagging, you know, Priest and stuff like that. And I know he's pissed off because he wasn't invited to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he, you know, keeps getting mad that Priest won't play any songs from his era. But I really don't think it's smart of him to start taking shots at Rob Halford. I think you're going to lose that one every time.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
You didn't read the full article.
Oh, I didn't?
Yeah. At the bottom, he said that Rob Halford was also involved in a pedophile ring.
Oh, man. Is every story going to involve pedophilia today?
God, I hope not.
It's one of those days. This is a kid's show, man.
You're like bringing me down.
Oh, but yeah, I think he needs to stop that. Just do what you do with KK, you know, and you don't have to slag Priest to make yourself look better.
Wonder if he's done with interviews and KK goes, you know, that was a pretty good interview, but you know, you could have talked shit a little more.
Yeah.
All right, KK, I'm sorry. Next time I will. I promise.
You know, KK's Priest new album came out yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I received it in the mail on Monday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got it 5, and it's awesome. But, you know, I will tell everybody out there, if you don't like the first KK Priest, you're not going to like this one. Because it's pretty much in the same vein. I happen to love it because I'm a big traditional metal fan, and it's all traditional metal all the way through both albums. I think it crushes, and I'm very, very happy that I got this early, you know, earlier in the week.
Well, we'll get into that later in the news, too. Next story, not without its controversy. Kiss played a 3-song set at the 2023 Australian Football League Grand Finale. And let's see, they played after Crowded House.
I got a story on this.
Go ahead.
Well, all I know is, like, I saw it this morning on somebody posted it, and it was one of those Kiss groups. And it said, oh, my God, this is an amazing performance, blah, blah, blah. And all the comments under it were talking about how amazing this performance was. So I went and looked at it. It was 13 minutes of them lip syncing, nothing new, and Gene doing that. I don't know why he does that, Gene. When he's playing and he looks at the crowd, he did not do that before. And he does that now, and it's annoying. it wasn't good. And then I wrote on it, I go, this shit sucked. And one guy wrote, oh, I get it. Only the original members matter. You're such a child. I don't even know this dude.
He's reprimanding you.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I even like Monster, man. Who the fuck are you talking to? You know, idiot, stupid kiss card. It sucked. I thought it sucked. I thought, oh, cool. There's a lot of explosions and bombs around them. It has nothing to do with the music of the lip sync music and it's just a half-ass performance. They're old. You know, Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer are like really the only animated members because they're not so old, you know, but whatever. The Kiss Tards loved it. They thought it was a phenomenal show. It's like crazy, man.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't mention the bigger controversy about that performance. They performed 3 songs, I Was Made for Loving You, Shout It Out Loud, and Rock and Roll All Night. And my first thought is, you're in Australia and you're not playing Shandy? I mean, come on. That was your biggest fucking hit. But therein lies the controversy. Because they started with I Was Made for Loving You, and then they actually started playing Shandy, but the tape was playing Shout It Out Loud. So if you look closely, watch them, they're playing Shandy. But the boombox is playing Shout It Out Loud. And then they got it, you know, they fixed it by the time Rock and Roll All Night came on. But very controversial. You know, I knew something was off because there's no way they're not going to fucking titillate those kangaroo fuckers with Shandy. You know, that is their biggest hit there.
You know, after they stopped playing, they demanded them all to turn off their cameras because Kiss, after that performance, went to a pedophile ring.
That's coming later.
Oh, no.
All right.
The foreboding, man. I can't take it.
Oh, man. Ralph, I know you did a video the other week about how much money that the Foreigner farewell tour made on its first leg.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many million that was?
I believe it was 18 million. I could be wrong.
18 million. Okay. You want to hear something that's going to make you even more sick? Disturbed summer 2023 Take Back Your Life tour has grossed more than 17 million. Who in the fuck is going to see Disturbed in 2023? I have an easier time understanding Foreigner making that kind of money. But Disturbed?
It's insane. I mean, but I don't keep up with shit like that. But yeah, I am aware Disturbed played because when I went to go see Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper at that amphitheater, there was posters there for Disturbed. We're playing there soon. And that's a big ass fucking place. You know,
Yeah.
So yeah, Disturbed was headlining there. So it doesn't surprise me, but at the same time, it's like I don't keep up with none of this shit. There, people like Disturbed and Godsmack just recently played down here, and I don't keep up with shit like that.
Huh.
Yeah. Did you get on the Disturbed train, Aaron?
I'm not a Disturbed hater. You got to respect them. They've been around for a long time now. Here's something they do that might be revolutionary to some of our other favorite bands. They have consistently put out new albums over the years and just put out a new album, I think, either this year or last year. And so they're consistently giving it to the fans, you know, and
Oh, yeah, they are.
when they debuted, they were super popular. So you guys talk about timeline all the time. Think about kids that were there at the time when Disturbed and Godsmack were blowing up. To them, that band's a big deal. And they've been around so long that even they can kind of be considered legacy acts at this point. But the difference is they still continue to put out new music. So in some ways I'm jealous of Disturbed fans.
Yeah.
And Disturbed never been caught in a pedophile ring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm aware of, unless that's the next story.
Somehow they keep eluding that.
Yeah, yet they haven't been caught yet.
Oh, God. Now, here's something I started watching today, and unfortunately I didn't get to finish. But there's a new documentary on Roger Waters put out, I believe, on the BBC or something. It's a British documentary that Roger Waters rips. He says it's flimsy, He calls it a flimsy, unapologetic piece of propaganda. And basically, um, the whole thing's about him being anti-Semitic. And there's interviews with Bob Ezrin, who people may or may not know is Jewish, um, a Jewish saxophone player who played with him in his band. And Roger Waters says it's complete bullshit, and it's all started by a bunch of hook-nosed Jews who run the media.
You know, that's where he fucked up. He should have never said that, because that right there, that quote makes him look anti-Semitic, don't you think?
But he actually
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we say it on the show, it must be true, Aaron.
Always gotta wonder with you guys, you know.
We don't bullshit here on the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast. Yeah. Oh, I do not share those opinions, by the way. I like Roger.
Roger Waters, by the way, is part of a Pakistan child pornography ring.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's okay over there. They don't have consent.
That's why I don't think he's anti-Semitic, because he's not part of Israel pedophile ring. He's part of the Pakistan one. Don't you think an anti-Semitic would be part of the Israel? Whatever.
Well, I hope you're his lawyer. If it don't fit, you must have quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roger doesn't really help his case. I think he's a musical genius, but he does a lot of shit that I totally understand why he gets labeled that.
You know, forget all that anti-Semitic thing. The biggest crime that dude did is redo Dark Side of the Moon. Have you heard these fucking things? It's spoken word gibberish. Like, I've heard Time, Us and Them, and a couple other ones, and he's just talking through it. It's horrible.
Yeah. We were just talking about that, where it's like, why would you do this? But then you see Nick Mason is raving about it, thinks it's amazing.
Well, Nick Mason's the peacekeeper between them. He's the only one that's friends with, well, of course, Richard Wright's dead, but he's the only one that's friends with both. And he's always trying to get them to mend fences. I've heard it. I'm not impressed. I would like to listen to it as a whole before I pass total judgment on it. But at first glance, it sounds like some Leonard Cohen shit. I mean, Ralph kind of hit it on the head. It is, it just sounds like an 80-year-old man, and he's singing the lyrics like this. And what I really think it is, and a lot of people are calling him out for it, it's a fuck you to David Gilmour. He's in a big fight, especially with Gilmour's wife. Have publicly been going back and forth on social media and shit. And there's no guitar solos. Like, the guitar was... There's other instruments, but no guitar on this thing. So really what it is I wrote it, and he's come out and said that, this was always my baby. This is more a Roger Waters thing than a Pink Floyd thing. Always has been, which is ludicrous,
Does it really matter? Because 6 months from now, nobody's going to care about this Dark Side of the Moon and go back to the 73 masterpiece.
Yeah, no, it's really just, it's a fuck you, as much as I love Roger, and, I've seen the last couple tours, and mind-blowing, amazing, much better than, Pink Fraud. But yeah, he just ain't helping his case. He just seems like a really angry, bitter old man. And I don't think he likes the Jews, whether he'll come out and admit it or not. I think he does and says too much shit to really come to any other conclusion. But, he's Roger Waters. I'm just a podcast, superstar. What do I know?
And humble, too.
Yeah. All right. Mike Tramp on why he doesn't use the White Lion name for his solo band. I like this. He's honest. He says, I tried and it cost me money. So I like seeing answers like that, because he kind of backtracked a few years ago and, it just didn't feel right without Vito there. He could give 2 fucks less. It's if he goes out as White Lion, he has to pay Vito Bratta money to sit at home. And what the fuck is he making playing bars and county fairs, anyway? And then you got to split half of that with somebody who ain't even there. Let's get honest about this shit.
I don't know. If you ask me, he'd make a little more money going out as White Lion, even if he has to pay Vito, because going out as Mike Tramp.
But he's done it. He did it. He did a tour where he went out.
I saw Mike Tramp with Enough's Enough.
Oh yeah, was that when he was going as Mike Tramp's White Lion?
No, it was just
because he has done that before, and he had to pay Vito out.
Right.
So I think that's what happened. It just he wasn't making enough money to justify it. Because think about it, if he's got to do that, not only does he have to give Vito that cut, but then he's got to pay his band too. And what's he doing? Probably open up for somebody to begin with. So yeah, from a financial standpoint, But hey, I like the transparency there. Yeah, it's I can't afford to. But it might get a couple more people to go. Because there's probably most White Lion fans don't even know Mike Tramp's name. They probably don't even know Vito Brada's name.
No, they just
you say White Lion and they're like, oh, when the children cry.
I don't know. I think because they weren't that big of a band, that nowadays like White Lion's revered in a certain community they are, but those are the people that know who Mike Tramp is. So the White Lion fans that are hardcore enough to still go want to still go see White Lion will still follow Mike Tramp and will still go to those shows. Mike Tramp's actually a pretty cool guy. Years ago, Chris Sinzak set up an interview with us with Mike Tramp when he was in town here in Nashville. And on the way down there, I find out that Chris ain't going to make it. And I'm like, well, when he asked me about it, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I'm not a big White Lion fan or nothing, but I just kind of follow your lead on it. I'm sure it'll be fun. And then all of a sudden, like, he's not going to be there. I don't have questions prepared. I don't know shit about White Lion. He was a cool guy, and it turned out okay.
No, I love that story. I heard it before. I mean, the funny thing is, how the fuck do you like Tough and you ain't no White Lion fan?
But here's the thing. Like, when White Lion came out, it was like, by the time I heard him, it was When the Children Cry, and I was like, oh, this is one of them bands that's for the chicks. And I didn't like it. But like a year ago, we did a best and worst of White Lion episode on Decibel Geek, and I found a new respect for that band. And they actually have some pretty damn good songs. They're deep, deep cuts, but they're in some damn good White Lion songs.
I like their first album, Fight to Survive.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Yeah, it didn't do much. It was the next album that exploded them, but Fight to Survive was good. With Dave the B Spitz was in the band then.
Yeah. And all those guitar solos on that album weren't meant to be on the album. They were actually like what Vito had done, just fucking around, kind of laying a place for where he's going to put in his solo later. And then time runs out and they end up having to put like them demo solos on the actual album.
Oh, wow.
And they're still freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's not a bad album.
Yeah, I'm happy for you guys. Sure, you're gonna have a beautiful marriage. All right, next story.
It's going to be our wedding song, our dance, dancing away.
Oh shit! Here's some fucking karma coming at you. Aerosmith has now postponed the Peace Out Farewell tour till next year because Steven Tyler's vocal cord damage is more serious than initially thought. And man, I mean, even though I don't wish anything bad on Steven Tyler, but I just had a bad, something didn't sit right with me this last tour without Joey Kramer, and Joey Kramer's still alive, and and I don't think it's by his choice. I don't think he's like, fuck it, you guys go without me. I'll sit at home, and look at fucking Peter Criss on those Kiss tours when he came back. He could have played to a click track like him or something. They could have covered it up or something. Let Joey be there. But now there's nothing. And I'm wondering what he blew his voice out on. Do you think it was the old classics, or do you think it was like that fucking Armageddon shit he tried screaming out that fucked them all up? You know, I'm thinking it might have been that shit. You know, I don't know. But karma's a motherfucker.
I don't
You
know.
know.
I always look at the drummers and I think, not only are drummers musicians, but in a lot of ways, they're all also athletes because what they do is very physically demanding.
Oh
It's
yeah.
more than playing guitar. So, like a football player that gets hit a lot, the most athletic players are the ones that have the shortest careers, the ones that take the beating. And that's a lot the same in a band, that the musicians that are going to burn out the quickest are always going to be the drummers.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
maybe it isn't by choice. Maybe it's just, what? I'm hanging it up. You guys probably should too. You know what's going to happen? You're going to go out on the road. You're going to blow out your fucking voice. You're going to break all your fingers trying to play Sweet Emotion, and the shit's
Yeah.
going to fall apart, and you're going to break your hip. And, I'm not doing it. I'm staying home. I'm not stupid. I'm not doing this. But
Well,
Aerosmith, I will give them credit for this. At least they're not using tracks. They went out there and fucking imploded on stage because they should be using tracks, I guess.
well,
Well,
they'd sound better if they had tracks in their fucking arms. I'll tell you that much. Get
yeah,
back on the drugs and maybe write some good music. But there was all the drama. If you rewind a couple years, remember they were making him audition to play and all this shit. They were locking him out of rehearsals and wouldn't let him perform. But look at what you got happening to Steven Tyler now. Look at the last couple years, all the, Joe Perry fucking, having a fucking aneurysm or whatever while he's playing with Hollywood vampires. Those guys ain't in great shape fucking either. You know what I mean? And to keep him out, I'd be happier if the whole fucking ship went down. Like, let them all go out there and fucking have a stroke and shit. At least they go out together. That's rock and roll. Your brothers, man.
yeah,
Go out together.
And Tom Hamilton, I think he had like a stroke or something.
No, he had throat cancer.
Cancer, yeah.
Poor guy. If you don't see too many interviews with him nowadays, because his voice, I mean, he sounds like one of those motherfuckers with the cancer kazoo and shit. But God bless him, he still gets up and fucking plays and everything. The one who like always shines through, Brad Whitford. He's like the secret weapon of the band, gets no fucking respect, and he's just like sitting there like, yeah, look at all you assholes, no respect.
And you
But,
all gonna die first, you mother. Look
yeah.
at me.
He's like, where's Derek St. Holmes? I need to make another Whitford St. Holmes album. Oh shit. All right, what else we got coming up? Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get into this. We mentioned this earlier, the new KK's Priest album. Well, I got to admit, I got the first album, never listened to it. I think I might have heard the single, and it's one of those, I'll check it out. Never got around to it. A new album came out, I got it. Didn't check it out. But then I saw there's a video up for the song Hymn 66. I was like, you know what? I need to check this out so I can talk about it. Tell the fans, what I think of this. And I am a KK Downing fan. I wish he was in the band. I think it's pretty fucked up. They don't let him back in. I don't think it's right. So I wish him nothing but the best. Even though I think he should stop whining so much on social media and just do his thing. But I'm like, let me check out this fucking track. Holy shit. I can't give a full review of the entire record, but this Hem 66, oh my God. It starts out with this goofy Dungeons and Dragons spoken word shit. I mean, it's like, what is this, 1987? Does it sound like some bad Halloween shit? And it's like, I'm gonna come out of the forest and the dragon, and I don't know. It's I'm paraphrasing, but it was stupid. It wasn't cool like the beginning of the Shout the Devil or nothing, man. It just sounded so like, oh, this is stop. And the funny thing is, even Ripper, I didn't like his voice on this, and I'm a Ripper fan, um, particularly live. I thought he was. I saw him twice with Priest, and I thought he was fucking amazing, much better than Jugulator and Demolition were his studio albums. But even his voice, I don't know, it just sounds too. It doesn't sound like KK to me. It almost sounds like the rest of the band has more involvement than him, and then he just comes and plays a solo. Like the solo on the song is great, but the rest of it just doesn't fit to me. I don't know. It doesn't feel sincere. It feels like he thinks, oh, this is what younger people, are playing and shit like that. I don't. It just came across as real fucking hokey and some power metal like Dragon Force type fucking garbage. Not a fan. Do you like the song Hymn 66, Ralph?
Yeah, I love the whole album, man. I think it's
Okay, next, Aaron. Did you hear it at all?
I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Yet.
It's pure traditional metal. I have no problem with shit like that, man.
Yeah.
I love Halloween in 1986.
Yeah.
I love 1986. Bring me more music from 1986. Fuck today's music. Give me 80s shit.
No, remember you said the cutoff is 84.
84 down. Yeah, you're right. No. Hey, my point is there was some awesome metal after 84. There's no, but nothing touches Don't Break the Oath. 1984 has never been bettered, but you had Rain and Blood in 86, dude. Master of Puppets. Fucking, there was dude, Dr. fucking Feelgood, bro.
Like I said,
come on, that was funny. You gotta admit,
that was funny.
Me saying
that was you made it funny.
That was funny. That's laugh.
My thing is, to me, it sounded more.
I was like, oh yeah, Dr. Feelgood, fuck yeah.
It sounded more power metal than traditional metal, and I think traditional metal is what I would prefer. This sounded like European power metal.
Traditional metal.
Okay, well, I'll check out the rest of the album. This particular song.
You're not going to like it, dude. It's metal.
Okay, yeah. Fuck that shit. I want some goddamn Enough's Enough. Me and Aaron are going to go listen to Enough's Enough.
I'm going to go use the Vangina bathroom. I'll be right back. But keep on.
All right. Everybody laughs because when he exits, it's always into the women's room.
Yeah. I saw that when we did the live stream.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, Dave Mustaine went off on security guards in a place where I used to live, Bloomington, Illinois. And first off, if Megadeth is playing Bloomington, Illinois, this tour ain't doing so well. But apparently...
You said you lived there. I almost wanted to say, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, that's like... Well, Illinois is one of those towns one of those states where if you don't live in Chicago, you don't live nowhere, and Bloomington's like right in the middle of the state. It's a college town, but not a big metal market. But anyway, I guess the security was a little overzealous, and Mustaine thought they were bullying the kids and stopped it. And I'm always for that. I like when they'll stop that shit, and look out for your fans. And you knew that Mustaine meant it because when he stopped the show and started yelling at the security guard, he said, if this shit doesn't stop, I'm only playing songs off of Risk. And so
we're like, leave him alone.
Yeah. So the security guard stopped, the show went on, and then he played Trust. And they're like, why did we bother? We should just beat the shit out of the kid. But yeah, good for him for sticking up for the fans.
I don't know. Sometimes I see this because recently we went and seen Queens of the Stone Age and saw the same thing where the dude from the band said, hey, you, Mr. Security, don't mess with that guy. That guy is my friend. And I'm sitting there wondering, is that real? Or is that just something that they all do now to wow, he's so cool, standing up for one of his fans. What a great guy. Let's go buy some of their T-shirts. I wonder about that stuff because sometimes it seems like, I'm starting to see this happen all the time now. Now, you telling me there's an uptick in security guard violence, or is this all just a thing they do now? Like back when they put like iced tea in the Jack Daniels bottle.
It'd be cool, Aaron. If what you're saying is true, it'd be so cool. While that's going on, some insane psycho in the audience jumps and beats the fuck out of security guard. You know what I mean? And hospitalized them, fucks them up, and
Dave
sends them to the
Mustaine be like,
hospital.
Dave Mustaine be like, "Oh shit, I didn't mean for that to happen."
Well, that dude will be in the hospital going, "Motherfucker, either you pay for my bill, or I'm telling everybody that was bullshit." You know?
Yeah, you sick them on me.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times you got to go case by case with those, because I think we've all seen instances of overzealous security guards, and I think we've all witnessed that. And then sometimes you just straight up have assholes at a concert that need their fucking chin checked too.
Yeah, that's
I've seen both, and some situations have go unattended. You could see, potentially other concert goers get hurt or the band get injured. But then I've also seen, sometimes you got to look at who becomes security. Is this somebody that just wants to puff his chest and show you how bad he is, and is just waiting for something so he can show you the new movie he learned watching UFC, and shit.
Yeah, the problem with security guards, these are not licensed people. These are people that just come off the street. You want to work the show tonight. These are people with no licenses, no experience how to, be security. I'm talking ones that are new on the job. There's some that they're still off the street, but they've been security for years, that they learn the ropes. But any security guard, anybody, I can go and say, I want to work security here. And they can put me in there. I don't know shit about security,
Yeah. Look, I'm wearing a double deuce shirt, man. Fucking Roadhouse. Not everybody's Patrick Swayze. Some people just, some people are just assholes, so who knows? But either way, I thought it was.
When you talk about security, one of the very first jobs I ever had when I first moved to Nashville was a bouncer at the Deja Vu. And I quickly became known as the friendliest bouncer because the other security guards, they'd be just waiting to fuck somebody up. They'd be these big old badass dudes. And I'd be the one that'd be like, hey, man, hey, I see what you're doing here, man. You need to put your fucking cocaine away and, be cool in here. Don't be fucking snorting lines on the table right out here in the open. You see these motherfuckers back here? They're going to fucking kill you. They're going to drag you outside. They're going to beat the fuck out of you. They're going to take your drugs. They're going to take your money, and they're going to be leaving you in a pile out in the alley. Clean it up. Let's have a good time here. And they'd be like, oh, fuck, man, I'm sorry. You're right. And they put it away. It'd be like, I was just having so much fun. I forgot. Hey, man, here's $50. Thanks for watching out for me. And them other bouncers, they'd be like, I don't understand why the fuck you get tipped all the time. They're like, hey, the world's friendliest bouncer. But they would, if you fucked up, they were waiting to take you outside and fucking leave you in a pile and take everything you got. Security can be a dangerous thing too.
Yeah. And that's the thing, and look where this happened. Once again, this isn't at Madison Square Garden. This is in like a D tier market in bumfuck Illinois, so I can only imagine what kind of security, this guy just got done fucking a cow a half hour before the show, and the cow probably laughed at his dick, so he's already mad, Yeah,
way to go, boy.
Yeah, so, good on Mustaine, though, for knowing how to really threaten you. Threaten him with that risk shit, and everybody will straighten up and fly right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Don Dawkins very upset, and not just because of the way he sings. He says, if Donald Trump becomes president again, I'm moving to France.
Yeah, sure you are. Wasn't Cher moving to Canada or something when Trump was elected? You know who I respect? Miley Cyrus. She said, if Trump becomes president, I'm moving to England, and she actually did it.
Did it? Yeah.
Did she?
I respect. People actually do it. Not all these loudmouths. I think she's the only one that did it. Everybody else, Don Dokken ain't got no money to move to France.
Well, that's the funny thing I was getting at. He moved to New Mexico because he can't afford California, and now you're going to move to fucking France? I mean, God, and that people on both sides of the fence. I don't care what you always get those. I'm gonna move. Ted Nugent was gonna do shit. And you ain't gonna do shit. You're gonna bitch like everybody else. If your person doesn't win, you ain't moving nowhere. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, Don Dokken.
Yeah, if everybody that said they were going to move over an elected official actually moved, we wouldn't have a border crisis because we're having to refill half the population, except none of them ever damn do it. It's all fucking.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That shit's ridiculous. All right, what else we got here? Oh, goddamn. Now, here's something I gotta admit. I saw this story and I was like, oh my God, get the fuck out of here. And this guy said this twice in the last 2 weeks. But after seeing what happened with Disturbed, you might have a point. But Jacob E. Shaddix, whatever, the goofy looking fucker from Papa Roach, says that
This was great.
he predicts Papa Roach will be one of the next generation's Metallicas.
You know what's really funny about that, Ian? You're looking at the article now, right?
Yeah.
Look at the picture they chose of that guy.
I know he looks like he thought he was gonna fart all slick and just shit himself bad.
They found like the goofiest picture of him.
And
the headline is, yeah, we're gonna be like the next Metallica. And you see like
he's like, I gotta dream big. And the funny thing is, like Aaron was saying, and I'll have to admit, with Disturbed, not my bag, Daddy. I missed that boat. I missed everything that why they made it big. But they did have consecutive hit songs. They have continued to put out albums and tour. Papa Roach had that one fucking song, and that was it. That cut my life into pieces. I don't think I've ever heard another Papa Roach song ever. And they're going to be the next fucking Metallica.
Unfortunately, I've seen Papa Roach twice.
Oh, wow.
One, because I took my niece to see Eminem. And he was actually, it was another rapper, and Papa Roach opened that show. Then it was one of those Motley Crue fest that my friend David Lovin got me front row. So it was Buck Cherry, Papa Roach, 6 a.m. and Motley Crue. Man, you want to talk about of all band sucking? The only cool thing I can say about that show was the singer of Buck Cherry was wearing Iron Maiden sneakers. That was the coolest thing about the whole show.
Wow. See, I saw Papa Roach live one time, and this is like always my story of, have you ever gone and seen a band live that you didn't think you were going to like, but you actually ended up liking? And that was Papa Roach. We went because it was like a multi-band thing at the river stages in Nashville where they play out on a barge on the river and then everybody else stands on the shore. And it was supposed to be Cheap Trick was one of the bands. And that's who I really wanted to see. But there was like a torrential downpour and Cheap Trick couldn't play. So later on in the night, all these bands end up doing acoustic sets because everything got flooded. And Papa Roach was one of the bands that came out and played. And they were good. They were really good. It was cool to see how they threw it together to change into an acoustic thing. But I think they kind of won me over because I had my kid with me. My wife likes Papa Roach, is the reason we were there, plus Cheap Trick. But I had my kid. He was standing up on this thing, and I was holding on to his belt. And dude stopped the show. He said, "Everybody, stop the show! Stop the show!" And they said, "Who's this rock and roll little kid up here?" And we're close enough where he yells, "My name is Ace." He's like, "Ace, are you having a good time tonight?" And Ace says, "Yeah." And he goes, "Your dad is fucking awesome for bringing you down here tonight." It's like, woo! It was pretty awesome. And they have one album called the Paramore Sessions where they don't do like all the effects and the rap rock, new metal stuff. It's actually a straight up rock album. I dig that one actually quite a bit. There's some really good songs on there, but it's the one anomaly. It's like their music from the Elder, because it's different from all the rest. but that's the one I actually think is kind of cool. Yeah, for real. That's a real story.
Send all your hate mail, Kara Decibel Geek Podcast, Aaron Camaro. If they become the next Metallica, it's his fault.
Well, no, it's because when Metallica and Megadeth and Slayer and all the other metal bands are dead and they don't play anymore, Papa Roach will still be around. And then therefore they will be that generation's Metallica because they'll be one of the last bands standing at that point. So
Well,
if everybody else is dead, then it's Papa Roach time.
If you ask me, I think they're going to be the next Spin Doctors.
The only way I'll ever see these assholes if they're opening up for Crazy Town. God damn it. And I'm just going to see the fight.
Oh, what was that guy's name from Crazy Town? Remember that shit?
Shifty Shell Shock. He's shifty.
Shifty Shell Shock.
Oh my God. JJ French said, what a stupid name.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, I saw a lot of people, I saw mixed emotions on the debut single off the new Rolling Stones album, Hackney Diamonds. The song was Angry. They just released a second single off of it, this time featuring Stevie Wonder on keyboards and background vocals of Lady Gaga. It's called Sweet Sounds of Heaven. It's a ballad, and I listened to about half of it. Wasn't too bad. You know, it was kind of... I've heard better ballads from the Stones, of course, but it wasn't too bad. It's better than what, I was expect when I saw Lady Gaga, who I respect her. I don't listen to her music and stuff, but I think she has talent. Normally, when she sing with Tony Bennett, I like that better than her pop shit. But it wasn't bad. Any of you guys heard the new song?
Yeah, I thought it was terrible.
Yeah.
I hated it.
What'd you think, Aaron?
Yeah, it ain't nothing special, really.
I loved Angry. I love that song.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I'm talking, Angry is pretty cool.
I loved it.
I haven't heard the ballad, but it's okay. I mean, it's cool that the Rolling Stones are still coming out with albums. Can't really expect it to be really awesome. So, yeah. All right. It's okay.
Yeah, I've definitely heard worse. Let's
I like
see.
Cake Drinks more.
Here we go. I know what, you guys have been thinking and the audience is listening, has been thinking, when are we going to get back to more pedophilia? Well, here we go.
I almost forgot.
Yeah. Former Lynyrd Skynyrd drummer Artemis Pyle is putting out a new album called Anthems, honoring the music of Lynyrd Skynyrd. And, he's a well-known pedophile. And to top it off, he's got another pedophile on the album, Sammy Hagar. And I'm just like, wow. Birds of a feather flock together. This is just such a hey, I'm going to put out, greatest hits, of all, I'm a pedophile drummer. I'm going to get my pedophile friends to sing on the album. And what's fucked up is it's so obvious what this is about. And it's it's a charity album. And the proceeds go to defense funds for pedophiles. What's the name of the, what is it? Love Knows No Age is the name of the charity that all proceeds are going to. But I think this is another one where it's going to be, to catch a predator. Because even Ted Nugent, backed down because he's like, no, it's just too obvious. We're all going to get busted. And he was going to sing, play guitar and sing on Artemis Pyle's most famous contribution to Lynyrd Skynyrd, which is Give Me 3 Steps, which, is a song about pedophilia, because that's his rule. If they crawl, it's off limits, but give me 3 steps. If you can walk towards me a little bit, play ball.
That's fucking gross.
Yeah,
Bob,
yeah,
Bob-
it's fucking.
by the way,
base.
Bob Burns was their drummer when they did "Give Me Three Strikes."
Yeah,
Armin
yeah,
File replaced him.
yeah, yeah. Fake news,
Yeah.
fake news. Because this whole thing got me.
Hey,
I
speaking of fake news, I know there's going to be some idiots out there that's going to say it's fake news that we're saying Sammy Hagar is a pedophile, and then they'll say, "Where's the proof?" And I say to them, "Proof these nuts. We're talking about Sammy Hagar, okay? Just
yeah.
go with it."
Oh wait, dude, this is a rabbit hole I went down.
Oh no.
So I started looking into this, and turns out there's a pizza parlor where Sammy Hagar and Artemis Pyle and Ted, all these pedophile motley crew, they all meet up at, and they get with these kids. I looked at the fucking the QAnon shit. There's numerology behind this. This is the first like Artemis Pyle pedophile tribute album, the first one. The third song features Sammy Hagar. 1 and 3 equals 4. 4 is not only the amount of dicks your mom can fit in her mouth, it's the age that these pedophiles start fucking kids at. I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's terrible. And then, people like, oh, yeah, everybody knows Artemis Pyle's a pedophile, but, where's your proof with Sammy Hagar? He's not only doing this tribute album, he's going to be on another tribute album called Filipino Boys Have Fine Asses, celebrating the music of Gary Glitter. And not only is he covering, Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part 2, he's on a bonus track. He's doing the original version of his Montrose song, Bad Motor Scooter, but with the original lyrics called I'm Gonna Fuck You on Your Hot Wheel. Yeah, that's what it was called. Ronnie Montrose put a stop to it. And I heard this for years, and I didn't think, yeah, sure, it was called I'm Gonna Fuck You on Your Hot Wheel. Mooger Fooger sent me, he's got the new deluxe, Montrose first album. They put out all the demos and shit, live tracks and shit, and it's on there. I'm Gonna Fuck You on Your Hot Wheel. Sammy Hagar.
Oh.
I believe.
Do your own research. But there's some.
I love that Ian does a lot of research. He comes up with.
I do. I do. This shit's important. People need to know.
You're very informative, my friend.
I'm really kind of feeling bad because like this rock and metal combat news segment is like way more informative than Geek Wire. Like I'm learning so much that I never knew before.
Well, Ian does his
homework.
Yeah. Ian goes in the rabbit hole on the interwebs.
I know. And boy, all the shit I was looking up on the computer this week, I'm going to have to get Pete Townsend's a lawyer. I was just doing research. You
do all the Metal Combat podcast research on the dark web.
Yeah. Oh,
somebody else is looking at Wikipedia.
Yeah. Not everything's on Wikipedia, but yeah, that's some sick shit, and they're not getting my money. I'll tell you that much. Not getting my coin. Wow. All right, what else we got here? Hopefully that's the last, pedophilia story we got.
I hope.
Oh. Yeah. More Sammy Hagar. Yeah, pedophilia.
I got a sec.
Okay. All right. Well, while Aaron's gone, holy shit, did you see that news story on Paul Rogers?
Yeah, he had a bunch of strokes, right?
Boy, did you see the picture? He sure fucking looks like it, too. Did you watch the interview?
No.
Yeah, me either. I was too busy looking up fucking pedophiles on the dark web. But his face is like, like, I don't know. I wonder if he talks funny now. He doesn't look right in the picture. I don't know if they just took a bad picture of him, but it looks like somebody, had a stroke or like Bell's palsy, where, the mouth is kind of drooping a little bit and shit.
Yeah, I think he said he's not touring anymore.
Okay, well, good for him, because I think he said he's had 8 mini strokes, or like he's had 8 strokes, like 6 mini strokes and 2 bad strokes. That's too much different strokes, man. He just needs to fucking chill. Take it fucking easy.
He was taking it easy and chilling when he had his strokes. You know?
Oh man.
Oh, I got a story.
Okay.
Um, Paul Stanley made fun of Meatloaf in some recent interview.
Yeah, what happened there? I saw the headline. I saw Thinking Stanley made a video, but I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen the Single Stanley video, but what it is that show they played recently. Meatloaf played it like 10 years ago and he was terrible. And,
Yeah.
and here's Paul Stanley saying, "Oh, we're not going to be like Meatloaf or something." He had to bring him up, and it's like, you, the guy that sings the tapes, sing without the tapes and let's see how good you sound. Sickening.
That's pretty fucked up for Paul to do that. That's something I'd expect out of Gene.
And Gene, when Paul said it, Gene's face was like, "Ooh, damn."
Well, it is kind of not only the fact that Meatloaf's dead, but Paul's always the one to bitch when Gene says shit like that. You know, like when Gene was talking shit about David Lee Roth and all the other shit. All the other people Gene shit on. Paul's always like, "I take the high road. I wouldn't do that. I don't agree with everything that Gene says." So the fact that now Paul's doing it, and again, people in glass fucking houses.
Yeah.
Paul Stanley shit about Meatloaf?
Yeah.
He made fun of Meatloaf's voice.
Wow.
Because that show they just played, Meatloaf played it like 10 years ago, and it became controversial because Meatloaf was really bad at that show.
Yeah.
So Paul brings it up like, "Oh, it's not going to be like Meatloaf." Which is making, and of course it's not going to be like Meatloaf because you're going to go up there and sing the tapes.
Right.
You're not going to be singing live like Meatloaf was. Let's see you sing live with no tapes, and let's see if you're any better than Meatloaf. Unbelievable.
That's kind of like the same thing with Aerosmith. They could have easily went out there and just used tapes because that's appears to be the acceptable thing nowadays, but they didn't fucking do that, and that Kiss, it's tough, man, because Kiss has been my favorite band for as long as I can remember, but it's fucking difficult nowadays because not really proud of them and what they're doing right now, and in this instance, I would side more with Aerosmith and be like, in this instance, I way more respect Aerosmith for going out and fucking trying to do it, blowing up his throat and going,
Right.
"Well, fuck, we tried." I would rather see that. I can respect the hell out of that a lot more.
And not dress the new drummer like Joey Kramer.
And Ralph, I watched one of your videos you recently put up. About the lip syncing and bands using these backing tracks, and you were spot on as always, boss. But it used to be doing something like that, your career was over, like Milli Vanilli. It's like it was done. And now not only is it acceptable, but you even see a lot of musicians, it's one headline after the other on Blabbermouth. This guy says it's chicken shit. This guy says it's okay. And it's damn near 50-50. And this is amongst the other bands. And it's not all like old bands, like younger bands are saying, "Yeah, that's okay. That's all right." And you also brought up a good point is you might as well be honest, because honestly, the people who go to these shows in masses would not care. It's us, the diehards, that are offended by it. And a lot of times, we're not going to this shit anyway. Because we know, if you love this music and you stay current with what's happening and you know what's going on, you're like, "I'm not spending my money on that." But the majority of these people who go to these shows aren't on Blabbermouth. A lot of times they don't know who's playing in the band. They just hear a band. "Oh, I listened to them 20 years ago. We ain't doing nothing Friday night. Let's go." And as long as they hear the songs they know, they could give two fucks.
I think I think the worst part of this whole lip syncing thing, by far more than anything, is that bands don't let us know. That's the part that pisses me off. That's false advertising. And I always said it, dude, if bands come out and say, "Look, we're using tapes," it's not going to hurt ticket sales because it's me and you and Aaron are not going to go. But man, we don't matter. Kiss has been playing this end of the road to tapes for how many years now? Constantly selling out arenas, and even the people that don't go on Blabbermouth know that shit's tape. I mean, Kiss has the biggest story of using tapes, and they still fill arenas, which shows you that people don't care.
You don't care.
But there's no shame anymore either, because back in the day, I mean, this shit's been going on for years. Let's be honest, to different degrees. But I mean, look back when we were coming up. Look how many bands had a keyboard player that you didn't see. Gary Corbett, is behind the stage. You got Robert Mason singing for Ozzy in the fucking 90s and shit. This shit's been going on forever, but people were ashamed about it. And now a lot of them don't even care. I mean, some will sit there and lie even though they get busted, and other bands have no shame. Like, yeah, we're doing this. And I mean, you'd have to be a fool with a lot of these bands not to think it's going on. I mean, you tell me back in the 70s when Kiss played Beth, that wasn't a fucking tape, of the orchestra. And I mean, yeah, his vocals were live. I'm not going to take that away from Peter. But, there's no orchestra backstage. They're playing a fucking tape, and bands have been doing that, power ballads and shit like that have all the shit, and bands, especially in the 80s when they started using keyboards. But it wasn't cool to have a fucking keyboard player on stage. You hid that motherfucker in the back. But if you fucking listen, you go see Kiss on the Crazy Nights tour and you don't think there's fucking keyboards going on. Well, they had Bruce Kulick sit there and play for like Reason to Live or some shit, but there's always lies,
But back in the day when Robert Mason was singing for Ozzy, if that shit broke, it would affect that tour. You get Robert Mason today to sing for Ozzy, he'll pack an arena. People don't care. As long as you got Ozzy up there, they don't care if he's singing or not.
Yeah.
Let's think, Ozzy. What happened? This is like Bizarro World, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when Chris showed me a video of Bon Jovi where John Bon Jovi's up there just croaking. But audience, and they're going fucking nuts because they're singing the songs.
Right.
They're singing along with him. They don't even care what he sounds like. They're singing along with him. It's not about that. It's about the song. It's about us having a good time. It's weird, And
I got to respect the guy. He didn't use tapes.
Right?
Yeah. I got to respect that, man.
And you got to also give it to Aerosmith, too, on the fact that they didn't make their new drummer just dress up like Joey Kramer.
Yep, like Eric Singer.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, I saw that Bon Jovi shit, man. That was fucking hard. And I'm not a Bon Jovi fan by any means. I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah.
I thought he sounded better.
Oh, man. It was no bed of roses, man. Let me tell you. Yes. It was rough. Oh, shit. All right. What else we got going on here? Anything else new? Let's see here. Oh, there's some controversy here. Did you see Joe Lynn Turner just became a father at what is he, like fucking 85? But he has a very young like Russian bride. I don't think she was mail order. I think he went over and picked her up because that's the only place he tours is Russia. But it was controversial because of his age and everything. A lot of people were saying, is this really your kid? But the kid came out with no hair. So they figured out it was Joe Lynn Turner. So congratulations to him.
No hair and born with mascara.
Yeah.
Already on.
So kudos to you for still getting it up at 97 there, Joe Lynn Turner.
Oh, yeah.
Rocking that wig.
He named his kid Blackmore.
Yeah. Of course, he's lucky that kid, he'll die before that kid's old enough to know what he looks like. Oh, shit. All right. What else we got here?
Man.
Dave Mustaine is praising their new touring guitarist. I'm going to fuck this up. Teemu Manstrassari or something like that. Anyway, saying he plays a lot like Marty Freeman. And man, everything coming out of Dave Mustaine's mouth is Marty Freeman, playing with Marty Freeman. Uh, and if fucking Cuckoo don't get back soon, I don't know. He might throw some money at Marty Freeman. Because, boy, talk about bad timing. All these, now we've had 2 appearances with Marty Freeman, and then fucking Cuckoo got to take a leave of absence and shit. And now they got this guy in there. Man.
Cuckoo.
Yeah. Hey, he's a great guitar player, man.
Cuckoo
and then he said, no former Megadeth member has ever gone on to do shit after I fired him. Except Friedman.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But I tell you what, they might have not done much musically, but I know a bass player who can still pull the kids in. Just saying.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
So he's grooming a little bit, Take pride in your hair. All right. What else we got here?
You got look. Everybody fucks with Junior because he got caught masturbating with some chick who was grooming. But what people don't put into account is that he's legally a preacher, and that's what they do. It's part of the preacher's thing to masturbate over the phone, right? Unless they're with little kids, they don't do it.
I'm gonna go back to church.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he waited till she was of age. He did all the groundwork while she was a kid. But at least he waited till she was 18.
What an idiot! Seriously, what a fucking idiot! I wouldn't even do that myself, and I'm no celebrity. I mean, the guy's a D-list celebrity, but still, he's very well known in the metal circles. And this idiot masturbates on the phone to a young girl that how young girls are. They'll show it to one person. They ain't gonna keep that shit personal to them. But she showed it to the wrong motherfucker. Because the thing is, she didn't want to expose David Ellison. She just showed it to the wrong guy or a girl, whoever it was that exposed it. But there you go. What he was doing was with a girl that would not tell on you, but will share it with other people, which is just as bad,
Sure. It's like internet groupie, I guess. They got to go back and brag to their friends the next day, right?
I've never, believe it or not, and my stupid reputation, in my whole life, I have never sent one dick pic to any chick ever. Ever. I have to transitioning people, but never to a female.
Okay.
I didn't mean that transitioning thing. I was trying to be funny, but that shit bombed. That shit was unfunny. I just did a freeform rock podcast moment on our show.
Way to go.
Stop it.
Jeez. I send pictures of my cock to my wife all the time.
Yeah, but that's different. It's your wife, man.
Yeah.
But Dave Ellison's married and he's sending it to some other chick. I mean, dumbass.
Right. I mean, I've been married for a long time. I've never cheated on my wife. 1, because I love my wife. And 2, because I know damn well any other young girl I fuck around with is going to go crazy and ruin my marriage.
Yeah.
And I love my wife, so I won't do it, And so you just don't put yourself in situations like that. I like Dave Ellison. He made a mistake for sure, by putting himself in that situation. But they were consenting adults. I don't really give 2 fucks about it. It doesn't bother me, but it was kind of a dumb thing to do.
God, it ruined him. He may think, because he's very busy now with a bunch of crappy bands and trying to stay relevant and shit like that. But Dave Ellison's going to be goofed on for the rest of his life for what he did.
Yeah.
He's going to be goofed on. Nobody's going to forget this shit. I know he's dying for people to forget it, but nobody's gonna forget what he did.
Well, last time we did GeekWire, Chris had brought up like the different headlines over the past amount of time on Blabbermouth dealing with Dave Ellison, and it's always like he's got a handle on it, and it's always like the headlines are double entendre about gripping it, grabbing it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's been going on for a while, and when you really look at like these headlines, it's like, holy shit, that really is happening. That's not a conspiracy. That's real.
Yeah. I remember there was a Blabbermouth headline a couple of weeks ago that was hilarious. I forgot what it was, but I had to do something like double entendre could have been like jacking off.
Yeah. And it's all the time. It's happening to him.
But what I don't understand is, he loses his job and basically his career over grooming. And nothing's happened to Sammy Hagar yet. And you want to talk about grooming. Listen to those fucking lyrics. Okay, that's shit for fucking kids. I mean, god damn, it's horrible shit only a kid could fucking understand. That's grooming. I mean, his lyrics make Bret Michaels sound like fucking Maya Angelou. That's grooming. He's getting these little kids, ready for his 3-lock box and shit. And God, he's the reason fucking aliens won't make first contact. Fucking Sammy Hagar.
I'm telling you, look at the Sammy Hagar fans. They're retarded.
Oh, I
personally. I mean, look at Bushy and the other dude. They're retarded.
Yeah.
They're dumb.
And I've said this a million times. The only thing worse than Sammy Hagar is his fans. You ever seen a Sammy Hagar fan? They're all fucking short eyes. Every one of them. They're fucking short eyes.
One of his fans I didn't treat like shit in Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah. He's grooming somebody right now. Terrible.
With the next story, I'm gonna fill my glass again. I drink too much.
All right.
Back in the bathroom.
Let's see here. Oh man, here's some sad news. Steve Brown says Trickster will never reunite with Mark Gus Scott. And man, I mean, that's the band everybody's been waiting to get their shit together and put out another album. And it looks like with the original lineup, it's not going to happen. And then he went on to call the drummer adequate at best.
Well, I got to ask you, being that you're the resident expert on this band, is that like a classic era drummer for them, for Trickster?
Well, they only had the one lineup, and and for him to call the drummer adequate at best when it's a whole band of people who are adequate at best.
I have to disagree. I saw that story, and I even did a little post about it saying adequate at best in a band that's not even adequate. They need to call me because I don't know how to play drums, and we can all suck together.
Hey, they're of age. At least it's not grooming. But oh my God, they were so horrible. When I saw them open up for Kiss, I mean,
yeah, I would not join Trickster now. I think about it because I believe they're part of a pedophile ring.
Oh my God. And what's your thoughts? You're the big Ace guy, How do you feel about Steve Brown being the Svengali behind Ace's new record? Does that scare you, or you're like
the guy from Danger too?
Oh man,
him and Bruno Ravel.
Oh, this shit keeps getting worse by the minute.
So on the last GeekWire, Chris brought that up, and I said then, and I say it now. If you'd have told me, when I was a teenager, or whatever, that someday the dude from Firehouse and the dude from Danger were going to be helping out Ace with his new album, I'd have been like, no. But Chris pointed out those guys are both huge Kiss fans and probably just want the best for Ace and want to give it to Kiss fans the way they want it. So maybe it's a good thing.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not. No. Okay.
I wish I could say what I want to say, but let's just say it's not.
No.
Well, I'm going to say this right
I've heard
now.
other people say it's awesome.
Well,
Okay.
those
Well,
people need their hearing checked.
I
Wow.
want to have you back, Aaron, when the new Ace album comes
Yeah.
out. I want to have you back on and review it with us.
Yeah, man. I don't want to hear nothing to make me worried. Ace has never really let me down. Some albums are better than others, but there's always awesome stuff on each one.
All right. Well, we'll have you back when the new album comes out.
Okay.
And
Looking forward to that.
God damn, really? The guy from Danger Danger 2? Holy shit.
Damn.
Hey,
now all we need some fucking Bobby Doll in this motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to get the guy from Shark Island to help with
Anybody available from Firehouse?
Vixen. How about Vixen?
Oh.
Get one of those broads to help.
Oh man. Oh, more bad news. Ozzy says he wants to record a new studio album.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Why? Why you say that? Patient number 9 was fucking awesome.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Really? You didn't like Patient?
No, I liked one song, the one he did with Iommi. Did you like Ordinary Man?
Yeah. No, I didn't really care for Ordinary
There was
Man.
not one song on there. At least there was a song on Patient 9 I liked.
I like most of Patient number 9, and I like a couple of songs off of Ordinary Man, but not most of it.
Well,
that's where I disagree with you and Ian. I'm not a fan of that album.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't like that album either. Shit.
Really?
I wanted to see your reaction.
I thought the last Ozzy album was damn good.
But the good news is this new album won't be with Andrew Watt, who produced the last 2 albums. Apparently, he's working with the keyboard player from Sleaze Bees and and the drummer from Rhino Bucket. So I got big hopes for this one.
And the inadequate drummer of Trickster will be helping out.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Here's I don't know if you guys have heard it yet or not, but have you heard the new single from Steve Riley's LA Guns?
I love it. Let me tell you something, man. I know a lot of people won't agree with me. I've heard about 5 songs from the Steve Riley thing. Dude, I like that shit more than that Black Diamond LA Guns album that's been released. I like this Scab LA Guns more than the real LA Guns. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they shouldn't. They're selling themselves short by calling themselves LA Guns. Their music is strong enough that they could call themselves something else and still be earning a reputation as a kick-ass rock band that people would be interested in. They don't need it. I don't think they need the LA Guns shit, Just you're good enough.
Yeah.
I disagree with you there. I think at this day and age, with a 70-year-old drummer, I think they need that name to trick people into coming. And even though I haven't heard the new songs, I have seen live performances of Stephen Riley's LA Guns. And I got to tell you, I really like that singer, man. He can do Phil Lewis. And I haven't heard the original material, but the shit they did, and Steve, I believe Kelly Nichols, the original bass player, the bass player from the popular lineup of LA Guns, is in the band. And I thought they sounded damn good.
Me too.
I mean, I'm a fan of LA, especially the first 3, really. The others I don't know as well. But I listened to some of the Black Diamonds or whatever, the newest one with Tracy and Phil. And it was all right, but it kind of seemed a little desperate, like they're trying to be too modern. Just be LA Guns, But yeah, when I saw Steve Riley's, I think it was from one of those M3 festivals or whatever, where it's all the 80s cock rock shit. I was impressed.
Well, I haven't seen none of that footage, but I have heard at least 3 to 4 songs.
Yeah, no shit.
The first time they released a song, I was like, oh, let's listen to this garbage. And I was like, whoa, man, this shit's pretty good. Then the next one was even better and even better. And I think the one they released today was the best out of all of them. I'm like, damn, every single song I've heard from this version of LA Guns is freaking awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
I got their first album, and it's really good too.
Oh, I didn't even know that. They have an album.
Yeah, this is their second. The stuff that's coming out now is going to be on their second album.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware.
yeah.
I just thought they released singles.
Yeah, come to think of it, I think I've got the first album and I haven't checked it out.
You
But
should.
it makes sense because it was produced and they co-wrote all the songs with the guitar player from Hurricane Alice. So, a lot of these, legacy bands are going back and getting help from some of these, bands from the 80s and shit. So right on.
Alice.
Hey, I saw Hurricane Alice.
Yeah, no, I like
Yeah.
them. They're pretty good.
I saw them. It was Hurricane Alice, Bad English, Skid Row, Great White, and Whitesnake on the Slip of the Tongue tour at Alpine Valley.
Wow, nice.
And me and my buddy, I think we were 15, I think, and we split a 6-pack and passed out. Passed out during Hurricane Alice on the lawn. Woke up and Bad English was playing. And went back to sleep. Like, oh, fuck this shit. Fuck this when I see you smile, garbage.
Yeah,
Make like fast pussycat, wake me when it's over, god damn it. Oh shit. Here's a little bit of irony. Suicidal Tendencies frontman Mike Muir fell off the stage while performing "You Can't Bring Me Down."
That's
I know, and what I feel so bad for him is, it's been legendary over the last, I think almost 20 years, all the back problems he has and the surgeries he's had to have that's kind of really derailed this second half of their career. So it's probably even worse when he fucking falls off stage, But he got up, man. It's funny. You see one roadie come out. I don't know if you guys saw the footage.
No, I
But
didn't.
one roadie comes out, then you see another one freak out, and they get him. They go down in the pit and pick him up, and he got right back on stage, pretty spry, and started moving around, doing the mic shit and stuff, But yeah, that you do a song called "You Can't Bring Me Down," and then you fall off the fucking stage. That shit's funny. I don't care who you are. Let's see. What else?
glad he's okay.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. I think we've gone through the news, and damn it, let's get into this album.
All right.
And again, to give some more context to this and why this episode is so special to me, is because of Rich Canamere. And I already told the story about how he loves both of our shows, so I wanted to bring us all together. But sometimes you got to do something a little extra special for somebody that does so much for others. And this guy, I mean, you've met him at Rockin' Pod. All of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all met him. And this guy, not only a hardworking SOB, he's a terrific father to 2 children. And you want to talk about a guy that carries a tough burden. And this is why I wanted to have you on, Aaron, because I think you understand his situation more than anybody else. Rich's wife was born Polish. And there's no cure for that.
No.
I know our own, friend we love, Chris Enzak. He tried everything, taking Bactine rectally. It doesn't cure it. It doesn't go away. And the struggle's real, and not only is this guy, bust his ass at work, take care of the kids, but, he has to take care of his wife too. They got a beautiful home. I don't know if you have ever seen his home. It's gorgeous. When him and his wife got married, he had to have a carpenter come in and made sure that all the doors swing both ways, because she could get trapped for hours. Something as simple as bathing the kids. You know, he has to go in and put the plug in the tub so the water doesn't go down the drain. You know, this guy, he does a lot. It's an uphill battle. He's going to have to deal with this for the rest of her life. And, you know, she's a sweetheart. Her name's Christina. And I even asked her, I said, you know, do you mind if I mention you by name when I'm talking about your disability? And, and God bless her. She said, I don't mind, but could you disguise my name? She goes, could you say it's Christina with a C instead of a K? Can you pronounce it like that? And I said, bless your heart, sweetheart. Bless your heart. Um, so, you know, this is why I want to do something for Rich. You know, all these struggles he has and his enjoyment, you know, when he gets away from this madness is to listen to our two podcasts respectively. So, you know, I know, you know, dealing with Chris, Aaron, that, you know, that's, I mean, years now. How many years now?
It's been like 12, maybe more than that by
Yeah.
now.
And it's not getting any better. He's still a fucking Pollock.
It's not getting
You
any
know?
worse. That's
Yeah.
way to look at it. You know, it's
That's
easy.
at least they're consistent.
Right.
You know what you got to deal with, and it's an uphill battle. So I wanted to give this guy, you know, the full treatment. Uh, you know, and God bless. When I met him and his wife, they were so nice, so nice. I felt bad for her because, you know, he said, "Hey, honey, we're going to Rockin' Pod," and she thought it was like, you know, something to do with chairs. She's like, "These chairs suck. They don't rock." You know, and I'm like, "Oh, you poor thing." And they sat front row during our show when we did our live show at Rockin' Pod 3. And whew, what a sport, because I filled it all with Polak jokes, and they sat right in the front row. And you know, that's probably one of my proudest moments of this show, is going from, you know, um, from us at the first Rockin' Pod, like damn near ending the whole thing and people pissed off and walking out, to when we did our live show at Rockin' Pod 3. It was fucking standing room only, and that was fucking amazing, because I was nervous. I remember when Cobras and Fires were doing their live show, and I wanted to go there and show my support and everything, and you know, there was like nobody there, you know, but it was early in the day. But I was like, oh God, is this what's gonna happen? You know, and especially with us, the way, you know, we went over at Rockin' Pod 1, and then not only was it great, but this poor woman had to sit in the front row and listen to Polak joke after Polak joke, and to make her feel at home. You know, I'm going to sprinkle in. I don't even know if you could call them jokes. I think they're more like Polish facts uh, that I'll throw in as we review this album. And this is one Rich picked, a band I don't think any of us had ever heard of. You know, and I'm from the Chicago area. I never heard of these guys, so I sent you both copies. A band called Cyclone Temple. They came out in the early 90s, and they were formed out of the remnants of another band called Snow White.
I love Snow White.
Really?
Snow White? Oh, you know of them, huh?
Oh, that's an awesome band. That's old school.
Okay. Well,
Female singer, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. But from everything that I've read, they were very well liked in the Chicago scene. And yeah, I believe you're right, Aaron. They did have a female singer, but they were pretty thrashy. And then they got the singer that's on this album. He only did this album and tour, and then they did an EP with another singer and one more album with another singer, and then split up. The other two albums weren't well received. They were signed to Combat Records, put out their debut, but shortly after the album came out, Combat and Relativity, that was like a subsidiary of Combat, they were both absorbed by Sony. And then they lost a record deal because they're like, you know, they basically took over the label, but, you know, canceled everybody's contracts and shit like that. So, But yeah, I tried to find as much history on this band because I knew none going into it. None of us knew this band, so it's going to be a harder review than something where we've lived with it our whole lives, or even if it's an artist that we know and love and put out a new album. These are the hardest reviews I think to do when you have no history, no anything. So I listened to the album, I think about 2.5 times. I don't know how much you guys got to absorb it, but let's do Rich justice, and for all his suffering, let's give him a good episode here.
Heck yeah.
Mission accomplished already, dude.
Yeah, I had texted him today. I'm like, I hope you like some pedophilia, with your episodes, and he said, go for it. So now, I would say, Aaron, you knew nothing, so you have no history with this band.
No history. Never heard of him before. You sent it to me. We talked about doing this a year ago or so, and like you said, shit just it's funny. When you're doing a podcast, you guys know it. It's a lot of work. You got a real life outside of it. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like if I'm not at my day job, I'm preparing to record the Decibel Geek podcast. I'm recording the Decibel Geek podcast. I'm fucking my wife, or I'm editing the Decibel Geek podcast. And that's everything, So it makes it hard to time out anything else. But we finally got to do this. When I listen to this, I kick myself in the ass. I wish I had listened to it a year ago, because for a band that I've never heard of, this is fucking awesome, man. It's really good. The whole thing is really good. And let's review this motherfucker, because it's awesome and people need to know about this.
Right on. Well, Ralph, you said you didn't know a Cyclone Temple, but you knew it was Snow White?
I did know it was Snow White. So there's a connection, right?
Yeah, the guitar player and the drummer, I believe. The guitar player, bass player, and the last drummer of Snow White formed this band, and they got a different singer. That came from a band called Hammer On.
Yeah, I have a Snow White album vinyl that I bought way back in the 80, 85, around there.
Yeah. And was it like thrash is what I heard?
It was more traditional metal.
Oh, was it? Okay.
What you'd expect from the Metal Blade bands, kind of that type of edgy metal,
Right on. Right on. All right. Well, Aaron, since you are our very special guest, why don't you take the first track?
All right.
Which is, shit, I don't have the track listed in front of me.
Why?
It's a tune called Why.
Why, yes.
And I'll tell you this, for being an album that I've never heard of before, by a band I've never heard of before, this, man, thank you, Rich, for making me do this, because this was a fucking treat. The first track, like, immediately, I know, like, if the rest of the album like this is like this is going to be all right. I love the way this song kicks in. It starts out mellow. It kind of reminds me like old Metallica style, where it would start out with some like clean, pretty kind of guitar thing, like nice and mellow. And then the guitar and the drums kicks in. And it's like, yeah. And then it ramps up even more. And it's like, holy shit, this thing, it feels like it's like a rocket about to take off. And then all of a sudden it drops out. Then you get the bass for a second, and then it's like a fucking explosion. Boom. And I go, oh, I'm going to like this. And then it's this fucking just jamming song, it's like a fist pumping, head banging kind of thing. Halfway through, it drops off to that clean guitar, the intro again, and then it comes roaring right back into just a killer guitar solo. It's got some pretty serious lyrical content too, about like how fucked up parents create fucked up kids who become like mass shooters through the eyes of the kid who does this sort of thing, and it's like by the time this first song is done, it's like, wow, this takes me back to like classic era thrash, and not knowing what year this comes out and listening to it, because I listened to it first. I didn't do any research. I just listened to the music first. I would have had no idea that this came out when it did, but with this first track, it's like, all right, I'm in. I want to hear more.
Right on, Ralph.
Yeah, how can I explain it better than Aaron did? Um, Starts chill, then gets thrashy, and it's got this really cool old school vibe to it. I really dug this tune. This tune was awesome. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Um, I kind of had an interesting history with this because, it took me a while to find it. First of all, when we were getting ready to do this, I mean, this was a couple of years ago. And I listened to it. I really liked it the first time I listened to it. I was like, oh, Ralph ain't going to mind this because this was a period where we were doing a lot of, fan episodes. And Ralph was getting pissed because it just wasn't his wheelhouse. And I was like, oh, here's one, I think he'll like this one. And I dug it. And then, for whatever reason, we tried this episode so many times and shit always came up. Put it on the back burner. Listened to it again, a lot recently. And I don't know. I don't have the initial excitement that I had the first time I was listening to it. But, it's hard with albums you don't have history with, too, when you're doing these reviews. I don't think it's bad, but there's something off on it. And I don't know if it's the production, which is very clean for thrash. There's a very smooth production. And I think the lead singer's vocals are going to make it or break it for a lot of people. He has a very, very much more melodic voice than you usually hear in thrash. And that's something like when I got into Anthrax. Anthrax was the first thrash band I got into, and it had to do with Belladonna's vocals because it seemed more like a real singer to me. It took me a long time to get into, like a Tom Araya voice and shit like that. But I think half of people are going to be turned on by it, and some of it will be like, it's not tough enough for thrash. And I hear some, especially knowing the history now of how, like two different bands merged and stuff like that. I kind of get that in the sound. Like, maybe this was a band that had, the musicians were in like another band that had a different sound. And then they get this singer that came from a band that might have had another different sound. And that now they're kind of merging and trying to find their own thing. I guess my biggest complaint with some of the stuff on this album is it doesn't sound like the singing mixes with the music right. Kind of like they're in two different places. But again, I think there's people who might not be huge thrash fans. This could appeal to them. This could be a gateway into listen to heavier stuff because of the melodic vocals. But it kind of reminds me, every time I hear a band like that, where it's like, oh, they changed their sound. I always think of Defiler from The Sopranos. The joke is there used to be a hair metal band, but now they're a grunge band. And I kind of hear that in this, like, just they're trying something new, kind of like how Pantera used to be a cock rock band and merged into something else, and power metal is kind of a growing pain album where you're mixing, you're starting to get a little bit heavier, but there's still some of the cock rock, but you're not yet what you're going to become. Yeah. And we don't really know what would have happened with these guys on another album because this lineup only did this one album and tour. And by all accounts, all the reviews I've read on the EP and the album that came after, each with a different singer, fans seem to prefer this a lot more than those. So, but not a bad one. But I'll take the next one, Sister, Until We Meet Again. It has grunge. It has crunch to it, but it's kind of like, does this band want to be a thrash band or do they want to be Fate's Warning? I kind of hear like a mix of thrash, but it's like doesn't fully commit, but then I hear like progressive shit as well, especially with the vocals. So again, it's just kind of a weird juxtaposition of styles on it. Not horrible, by like I was talking to Ralph about it earlier. I've heard much worse, but there's still something. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think of Sister, Aaron?
I like it. It's heavy, it's thrashy, but like you say, it's also kind of melodic in spots. I think I see what you're saying about how something's mismatched here because it seems like the music, the instruments are produced like very clean, but a lot of times the vocals feel like they're kind of muddy. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the band Kiss on Destroyer, but the vocals off of like Dress to Kill. It's like that's what I think the mix up is because it don't quite match up in the ears. But I love the heavy guitar tone of the band. The guitars are so good. And there's a lot of ups and downs in this song, which makes it not just like a generic thrash band, but something a little extra. So far, I'm digging it, man. I love track number 1, and I'm digging track number 2 also.
Right on, Ralph.
Yeah, it's another song that starts like not thrashy and then it gets thrashy. This song, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's great. I think it's just okay. Then we got Public Enemy, right? Is that no
No,
words?
words are just words.
This one, I didn't like the acoustic parts. This song kind of annoyed me. I wasn't a fan of this one. I'm going to use the girls' room. I'll be right back.
All right, Aaron. No, Aaron's chewing. Sorry.
I had an olive in my drink when I got down to it.
Yeah.
Um, with words are just words. I think what really jumps out at me at this song is what I kind of hadn't earlier or I hadn't noticed really much earlier was this dude is actually a really good singer, and it shows on this tune. He's got a unique voice, and it's cool the way he switches kind of like between like emotional and then he's snarling and he's howling, and he does a lot of different stuff with his voice. He bounces back and forth. When he hits the high notes, he kind of reminds me of like Phil Anselmo, like he used to do, like Cowboys from Hell kind of era. Song's got a great groove. Again, lots of changes, lots of peaks and valleys in it. But I tell you this, I like this one too, and I'm really digging this album so far.
Right on. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm so excited to do this episode finally. I forgot to do what I was gonna do to make Mrs. Cantermere feel included. So now I'm gonna get to some Polish facts. I got to do 3 to get caught up.
Right.
And you might know the answer to some of these. With what you have to deal with, your struggles weekly doing your podcast. What
Ian,
do Polish?
this show is so informative.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna find out a lot today.
So smart.
What do Polish women get that's long and hard after their wedding?
Kielbasa?
A new last name.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's right.
All right. Here's another one. You may or may not know this. Where was it now? I got to find all these facts. What do you call a Polish locksmith?
I don't know.
A Polak.
Okay.
I got it and said lock.
All right, and here's an interesting story. I never knew about this one. You find out all kinds of shit. A Jew, an Italian, and a Polak are waiting to be executed by electric chair. Jew steps up first, and the warden asks him, any last words? He mentions that his uncle's a doctor, and the warden flips the switch, and nothing happens. Warden says, you lucky son of a bitch, 1 in a million chance. Okay, you go free. Then the Italian comes up. Warden says, any last words? Italian says, nothing. Warden flips the switch. Again, nothing. Warden says, I can't believe this is 1 in a trillion shot. It doesn't work twice. Wow. You go free. Polak goes up next. The warden says, "Any last words?" Polak says, "Yeah, aren't you supposed to plug that thing in?"
Oh,
True stories.
oh,
True stories. All right. So as far as my feelings on this song here, this one's kind of a power ballad, and doesn't do much for me. This is where you kind of see it going in the, you know, definitely more suits the singer, I think, than the band. Not saying that this guy wrote the song or whatever, but I think they're kind of appealing to his strengths right there, instead of like, some of the more progressive thrash you heard on the first two tracks. So, uh, yeah, I'm going to pass on that one. Then we go in the next song. I'll take it. Public Enemy. Um, well, before I get into that, let me find another factoid for you guys here. Uh, let's see here. I know I saw interesting stuff. Uh, let's see here. Oh, this is one. And tell me this hasn't happened before. Uh, Polak walks in the store. He goes, "I'd like a pound of kielbasa." The clerk says, "You must be a Polak." Sinzak says, "Why do you say that? If I asked for bratwurst, would you call me a kraut?" Clerk says, "No." Polak says, "If I asked for Italian sausage, would you call me a dago?" Clerk says, "No." He goes, "Then why do you call me a Polak for asking for kielbasa?" Clerk says, "This is a hardware store." So,
that really makes Pollock look really stupid.
yeah, they ain't too sharp. But anyway, get to this song. Which one are we on now? Public Enemy. I dig this one, particularly the drums and the guitar work on this. Big fan of the drummer. There's some really good drumming shit on here, which is very prominent in the mix, like Aaron was talking. And the guitars, I was really surprised when I saw a picture of these guys and saw that there was only one guitar player.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's like a testament to his talents. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some, tracking going on here. Him, playing a rhythm and a live track. At least in my ears, I think they did that. Maybe not. I could be wrong.
Put off live.
Yeah, but some stellar guitar and drumming on this. So far, I would say at this point is my favorite track. I dig it. What do you think, Ralph?
Yeah, this is fast. I love the fast vocals. I dig this one a lot. It's thrashing goodness, man. I totally dig the Public Enemy. Funk Smokes. I dig it.
All right, Aaron.
Fuck yeah, man. This is some epic headbanger shit right here. What I'm loving about this band is the same thing that I love about early Metallica and Megadeth and Overkill and Slayer and bands like that. If I didn't know this came out in 1991, I would guess this came out in 1984. Public Enemy fucking rules.
Awesome. All right, why don't you take the next song? "In God We Trust."
This is another heavy ass song it's almost got an old school kind of Anthrax feel to it. This stuff all has like a real mid 80s thrash throwback sound to it. I like it a lot. I've got to think these guys were a band out of time, and had this album come out 10 years earlier, it might have been a pretty big deal. But this song is badass too. I'm really feeling good about this. Like every song so far, I'm going to put on my iPod.
Right on. I'll say I dig this one too. Heavy Anthrax on this song. Um, definitely get the Anthrax vibe on this one. Now, I would say so far this would be my favorite. But I can't help but think maybe they need a new singer. Even though this guy's good, I could see this benefiting from somebody, a little bit heavier. But I could be very wrong on that because, like I said, the reviews that I read of the two replacement singers, it didn't go over as well. Now, I don't know if they kept the style, if they got heavier, if they got lighter. But I could kind of see, I mean, with this drummer and guitar player, I could see just, I don't know. The singer's not bad, just feel, like a mismatch. What do you think, Ralph?
I dig this one a lot. I like the thrashiness of it. It's a great thrashing tune. It's my second favorite off this album. Love and God We Trust. I think it's a great track. Then we
Right on one.
then we
That's
go.
kind of the other cool thing about this too, is like when you talk about how these guys are coming out in 91, but clearly you see who they're influenced by, but you're getting songs about murder and greed and war and all the things that make for the best thrash metal songs. That's what these guys are doing. They're following a formula that has worked for a lot of different bands, and it's working on this one too.
All right, I'll take the next one. I Hate Therefore I Am, which is the title track. Are they Alice in Chains now? This thing, it sounds like Alice in Chains intro. Then it starts off, it gets thrashy, but I gotta tell you, when I was listening to this, I was daydreaming, not paying attention. So I had to play it again. And I was paying close attention to this song, and then I realized, I go, hey, this song ain't good. That's my review of that tune.
Aaron?
I mean, yeah, I kind of see that, because at first I'm like, oh, fuck, I guess every band from this era's got to have its ballad. And the singer, like I said, the production on the vocals and the production on the band don't match up. It don't fit together. But it's pretty cool the way the singer is talented enough that he's able to make his voice almost sound pretty in spots in this song, and then switch it back over to like the metal growl. But then a little while in, it kicks in. It's like, okay, never mind. This is no ballad. And the influences keep on coming, because this song is very reminiscent of like some old school Armored Saint to me. And it's a song it's like all over the place, but in a good way. And that kind of makes it like prog metal in its epicness. I think this one's like 7 minutes long. It's got a killer guitar solo that's not thrashy. It's very soulful. And so it fits this song because of the way it goes thrash, and then it goes kind of weird, kind of epic power metal sort of, and then back and forth and back and forth. Not my favorite song on the album, but I still think it's very cool. I really like the guitar solo on this one.
All right. Well, first off, I forgot a Polak joke on the last one. A Polak fact. I don't want to come across like I'm making fun of Polish people. I'm just stating facts. So the more informed our audience is, how to treat a Polish person, if you come in contact with them, and to have a little empathy and sympathy for them. But in case you need to know this, how do you stop the Polish army on horseback?
Oh man, I knew this one. I did know this one, and it is, and he is right. This is a fact.
Yeah.
But man, how did wait?
You turn off the carousel.
Oh no, that's not the one I heard. That one's even better than the joke I heard. That was good.
All right, yeah, this could come in handy. How many Polish people does it take to change a light bulb?
Oh, I have no idea.
100. 1 to hold the bulb and 99 to spend the house. All right. As far as the song here, let's see. Yeah, I see the promise in this song, but the thrash on this, I believe, needs to be turned up to 11. And here we're on about a 4. Like Aaron said, the guitar work really good, but I think this needs a more of a kick in the ass, and I think all three of us would agree on that. I'll take the next one, which is March for Me, Die for Me. Oh shit! Now I got to come up with another Polak joke. Well, let me tell you. I mean factoid. So anyway, this song, Um, far from reinventing the thrash wheel on this one, but I can hang with it. Not a bad song. What do you think, Ralph?
Oh, this is my favorite one on here, man. Uh, love the flow. I love the sporadic gang vocals in the tune. I think the vocals rule. I love this one. It's my favorite track off here. That's what I think.
All right. Let's see, Aaron, you're back now. What do you feel about this song?
Come on, March for Me, March for Die.
Mm-hmm.
March for Die, well, yeah.
Exactly.
Love it, man. I love it. I've talked about how cool the guitars and the vocals are, but man, you really, really got to give it up to the rhythm section in this band. It's so solid. The drums and the bass they're just heavy and killer throughout the whole thing. Gonna let you know it's John Slattery on drums and Scott Schaefer on bass. And based on their work on this album, there are a couple of super talented dudes laying it down, the foundation of all these hard rock and thrash and kind of power metal blends of things going on. They deserve some credit. This song is fucking awesome. Maybe my favorite one so far.
Awesome. Well, why don't you take the next one, Born to Lose?
I mean, this one's just okay, I think. It's not as strong as the rest. I think if there was one weakest track on this entire album, it would probably be this one, but it's still not bad. I mean, and this has been an experience here today with this thing. Like, I really like pretty much everything that's on here. And the only thing I can say about Born to Lose is it's just not quite as tough as the rest of them.
Awesome. Ralph, what do you think?
I mirror what Aaron said. It's okay. I don't dislike this song, but it's just okay. I don't think it's bad. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. Well, let's see. I got to come back with a couple of Polish facts. I missed the last one again, so very important. How do you sink a Polish battleship? You put it in water.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
All right. Aaron, you might need to know this one. How do you break a Pollock's finger?
I don't know.
You punch him in the nose. Again, not making fun of the Polish people, just trying to enlighten everybody. All right. Well, we all agree on this track. This is filler to me. And, I already mentioned the singer left after the tour for this album. And I got $20 that he went and joined a band that covered Seven Mary 3. I can kind of hear some cumbersome out of this guy. I don't know. Maybe he started a band called Seven Mary Thrash. I don't know. Again, it's the mix match, and it doesn't work on this one because not only is this kind of more of a fillerish tune, but it makes the singer, it sticks out more to me. Let's see. Ralph, I'm going to let you take the next song while I look for another Polish factoid. Take the final track.
All right, Silence So Loud. Again, I think it's okay. I think it's better than Born to Lose. It's all right. What do you think, Aaron?
Man, I found this one to be a great way to close out the album, especially after the dip you take in the last song, something to bring you up and end it with an exclamation point. It's a scorching thrash metal killer. I love this one. Musically, I mean, if you take out the vocals and just listen to the band, this would make a great song for either the first Metallica or Megadeth album. That's where their influences are coming from. They nail it on this song. I think Silence So Long is another of the strongest songs on this album. And a great way to end it.
All right. Well, last Polish factoid here. What do you call a Polish sea-doo?
What is a sea-doo?
Like a jet ski.
Oh.
Yeah. You just answered a jet ski.
A jet ski. feel like I was set up and walked into that one perfectly.
I know. Ralph fucked it up by not knowing what a sea-doo is. God damn it.
That's why.
Thanks, Ralph.
That's why I don't get that joke.
Oh, that was awesome. The best one.
Oh, all right. Well, enough of sympathizing with the Polacks here. I agree. This is my favorite track now. The final track. Give me more of this.
Yeah.
By far my favorite, and this has all the thrashing I need in it. And what I really love is there's a little like guitar outro towards the end. That's kind of different than everything else in the song. And you go back and listen to it, man. Check that part out because it's really killer. Again, we liked it to varying degrees. Nobody hated it, but personally, I can kind of see why it didn't get bigger than it was. And one thing I didn't want to tell you guys before we did the review, because I wanted to keep everybody honest, and I didn't want anybody to hold back. Rich is friends with the guitar player from this band, and I didn't want to tell anybody because I was like, it's Rich's friend, so I don't want to be too mean. I wanted everybody, to give an honest reaction. And I don't know if Rich is going to play that for this guy. And if he does, I hope the guy takes it all in stride,
Hey, man, we weren't harsh. I mean,
No.
there's really one song, the title track, I disliked on it. Everything else, even the ones that ain't great, I thought, well, they're not bad.
Right. Yeah.
Then
So
there's songs that are awesome on here.
right. And for me, I think to look at the whole thing as an overview, we established, this is a Chicago band that formed in '89 out of the ashes of a different band. And when it comes to wearing your influences on your sleeve, man, that's a good thing, especially when your influences are early Metallica and Megadeth and Armored Saint and Testament and so on. And man, I feel like it's a really strong album that if it had been released even 5 years earlier, I think could have made a real mark. And the production, I think, is great when it comes to the music. Like I said, I think there's some kind of disconnect with the way the music sounds and the way the vocalist sounds. But you can give all the credit to world famous producer Blind Pig Knuckle Jefferson for that. That's what I get. That's what I get for doing research. That's who's credited in producing this. But I got a feeling that it's probably Rich's guitar player friend, who is also the producer. I think the things that hurt this band, one, they were signed to Combat Records in '91, which, like Ian said, they shut down right after this album was released. Yeah. I feel like the name Cyclone Temple might have hurt them a little bit. It's kind of generic name that's placed on a band that's anything but generic. Like you said earlier on, they were known as Snow White. Umlauts on the O.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have kept that name. It might have been better. Also,
they're both horrible names.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Cyclone Temple's kind of generic. The album cover, it's kind of lame too. Even though it was created by Sean Wynette, who did album designs for other bands. Another band I love called 2-Bit Thief. He did some of their stuff. He's a famous tattoo artist, but the album art kind of looks like a tornado of souls crashing through the roof of a church, which is a cool concept, but it doesn't make for a great album cover. You got to have that logo front and center, not sideways and off to the side. You got to have something that's going to grab people's attention. I don't feel like the name of the band or the album art does the music justice.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of reminds me of like Scatterbrain's album covers, which is, there was a lot of great animated covers back then. Think of like, Megadeth and Iron Maiden ones, but this one's a little bit too cartoony.
Yeah.
And I know that doesn't affect the music, but if you're in a record store and you don't know these guys, because I don't remember ever seeing it on MTV or anything, it's not going to stick out at you and go, oh, buy me,
Like if I'm a fan of Metallica and Slayer and Megadeth, and this would be right up my alley. I don't think by looking at that album cover, I'm going to go, that's going to be something I'm going to dig.
Yeah.
So then after the album is pretty much deemed a commercial failure, the lead vocalist, Brian Trosh, we said quits the band. They go through a couple other singers. They release one more full-length studio album independently. It's called My Friend Lonely. And then they break up in 94, so they're not even around anymore. But I think if you're a fan of early to mid 80s thrash metal, then this is something you might want to give a chance to, because they do borrow strongly from the formulas of the great bands, the ones that did that better than anybody else. They're in 1991, they're able to look back and find that formula, what worked for those bands, and apply it to this. You know, and they're always talking about like new wave of classic metal as a thing nowadays. These guys might have invented that back in 1991.
All right.
The lead vocalist, I know, he went on to be like a Broadway performer, but I think the most enlightening thing I learned about this whole thing is that Greg Fulton, who was the lead guitar player on this, is really the mastermind behind this whole band. He's credited for writing all the songs, talking music and lyrics. And I think Ralph mentioned it earlier, before I did anything to learn about this band at all, I listened to the music first. And then I went back and tried to learn a little something about the band. And I think the thing I was most blown away by was like listening to it and going, man, this is awesome. The guitars are killer in this, and thinking it's two guitarists. And then to find out later, it's just the one guy. It was pretty mind blowing to learn that later on. And here's something you might want to know. Greg Fulton nowadays, he's got this thing going on called Sweet Diesel Jenkins. And they do like funk rock covers of classic pop rock songs. So the thing I heard was the song, This Is How We Do It. You know the one, right?
Yeah. Montel Jordan, baby.
Right. All right. So what they're doing is like a funk rock cover of that. It's really damn cool. I was like, I never knew this song was cool. But when Sweet Diesel Jenkins is doing it, man, it's awesome. You can actually catch Sweet Diesel Jenkins on tour right now, out there doing shows with Flo Rida and Ludacris.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's real, man. So this guy, who was kind of a thrash metal dude, all these years later is still super successful and doing some really cool stuff.
And most importantly, none of the members, past or present, have ever been involved in a pedophilia ring.
Wow.
So that already makes them better than most of the people we've talked about today.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, Sammy Hagar.
And Willie Nelson.
I was going to add a third name. I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to say anything.
Poor Willie. All right. Well, yeah, that's
calm down in his old age.
That's our review, again, released in 1991 on Combat Records. And yeah, hey, thanks, Richie. You finally got it, like half a decade later.
And really, thank you for turning us on to a really amazing album by a band that I otherwise probably would have never ever heard of. And now I want to hear, I want to own the CD. I want to own the EP that came out later, and I want to check out their last album. And then I learned about Sweet Diesel Jesus or whatever, Jenkins, and that's cool too,
Well, I know they did put out like an anniversary edition, or there is like a remastered version that came out, and they also put out a live album in 2017. Now I don't know if that's like an old recording like from this tour, or if it's something like a one-off that I wasn't able to find out. But they did put out a live album. But yeah, man, there you go, man. And now it's time to go to Pick of the Week. And Aaron, you're a very special guest, so you get to go first. What is your Pick of the Week that you want these good people to listen to?
You know what? I think since it's part of the subject, I would say if you like funk rock and you want to hear something cool, check that out. Check out Sweet Diesel Jenkins and check out their cover of This Is How We Do It. I know that doesn't seem like something that I would recommend, but actually after doing this show and talking about this band, Cyclone Temple, and learning about this band, and man, it's killer. I kind of wish that they would have came out 5 years earlier, because if I think they had, they'd still be around today. And I think they'd be one of those bands that you'd see out on tour with Overkill and see out on tour with Suicidal Tendencies. Like, if they would have hit at the right time, they would be a band that would have survived. But since they're gone, man, check out Greg Fulton and what he's doing.
Right on. Ralph, do you have a pick of the week?
It's the only time of the week that it's cool to say Ian before Ralph. Pick of the week.
All right. Pick of the week's hard this week because I can't stop listening to the new Uncle Acid live album. Man, it's just fucking. It's all I've been other than listening to this. It's all I've been listening to over and over. So what I have this week is a recommendation for our listeners, and something I got in trouble with in the past because I encourage violence against Sammy Hagar fans. And some people took that seriously. Yeah, we're talking to you, Mark Alden Taylor. He thought I was real and freaking out because I think he feared for his life.
Yeah,
you know, like he was
violence against Sammy Hagar fans. He's got to watch out. He is one.
Yeah. And I didn't think, I would get in trouble because, like, what is there, like 6 of them out there? But, you can get in trouble now for, inciting a riot and stuff like that. So I'm not recommending anybody does harm, to Sammy Hagar fans, but fuck with them. If they have kids, call Child Protective Services on their ass. Take a picture of their record collection, send it to Child Protective Services. They'll know what to do. Like rub dog shit on the handles of their golf clubs. Because Sammy Hagar fans play golf. That's their kind of fucking speed, just do something like that. Generally just make their life worse. I know you would think like, well, they listen to Sammy Hagar. What can you possibly do? That's worse, but find something and do it and don't get caught. And if you do get caught, don't tell them I told you to do it. Tell them Mark Alden Taylor told you to do it. I know they're going to have a hard time believing that because nobody listens to Mark Alden Taylor. But, try it. Keep my name out your mouth, but fuck with the Sammy Hagar fan. But most importantly, get their kids taken away, before it's too late. It's never too late to save a child, they're really sick people, and they can help themselves, unlike Polacks, no cure for that shit. Yeah. Ralph, what's your pick?
I want to say too, everybody out there, I'm talking about the whole human race, continue not listening to Freeform. All right. This is my pick of the week. Hey, look, I got the new kick. This is what I got on Monday. But that's not my pick of the week. I want to give a shout out to my boy, my friend J-Man, who has hooked me up with so many killer vinyls and box sets. And today he sent me this. All right, I'll get it.
Invisible.
There.
Invisible.
Oh, yeah.
That's the song.
The Amazing Disappearing Dio.
This is the Dio box set. I have the first box set, which I bought myself. But this one has Angry Machines, Magica, Killing the Dragon, Master of the Moon, and Elektra, a 7-inch. All these vinyls are colored. I have not opened it yet because when we're done with this episode, I'm going to do an unboxing video now of this. And I'm going to open them all up and see what color each vinyl is and stuff like that. But J-Man, I love you, bro. And I'll say this to the end of the day. Look, if I was a chick, I still wouldn't bang J-Man, but I will hook up J-Man with my hot lesbian girlfriend. That's how much I love J-Man.
Yeah, we all need a J-Man in our lives.
Yeah, man, I got
Hey.
man, Injustice for All box set. You know how expensive that is? J-Man's loaded. He's the man.
Yeah. And he bought him the special edition with bass.
It was J-Man that got me into that Metallica show. With
Oh wow.
where they only played songs from Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning.
Oh man.
Those tickets were like 800 and up. J-Man got me a casino comp ticket. J-Man's the man.
Wow.
Awesome.
Well, that's a great pick, but far be it for me to censor anybody, Ralph, but it's 2023. You can't call vinyl colored anymore.
Hey, I've said it before. I mean, all you people out there into colored vinyl, you're all racist. What's wrong with black vinyl?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Black is beautiful.
I love black vinyl. I love black vinyl more than colored vinyl, but I got to say, lately, I don't know. I appreciate colored vinyl. It still ain't the end-all, be-all. I mean, because the thing is, colored vinyl costs a little bit more than black vinyl. So if I had to choose, of course I'm going with black all the way. But then there's times where you can't buy nothing that's not, splatter and shit. So I end up buying that. And the sound quality is so much better today. It's just like the black vinyl, where back in the day, colored vinyl sounded like shit.
Yeah.
Your mom said the black vinyl's bigger, though.
Yeah. Well, my mom would know. She's a whore. She's a big whore that loves the BBC.
And we ain't talking about the British Broadcasting Company.
No, we're talking about big black cock.
All right. Well, that's our pick of the weeks. I hope you listen to each and every one of us. So check out Blind Munchkin Jenkins and
Sweet Diesel Jenkins.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Fuck with some Hagar fans, and check out that Dio box set. But now it's time to go into the whole reason we're here again and elaborate. The great Rich Canamere. This guy is just so awesome. And on one hand, I feel so bad about making him wait this fucking long. Because seriously, he's a leftover from like a couple of Rockin' Pods ago. But I knew I wanted him to give him this experience with the three of us. And he asked me, when I told him, he's like, great idea. But he asked specifically, can it just be Aaron? Not Chris. He's like, I got to deal with that Pollock shit at home every fucking day. Can I have a fucking breather? Everybody knows, Aaron's the fucking Ralph of Decibel Geek. He's a star. Just give me the star, leave the Pollock at home. And I was like, okay, cool. But Rich is salt of the earth, and his wife, Christina, she is a fucking sweetheart and a good sport. And I hope you both enjoy this and laugh. And if I didn't think she would, I never would have done this. But she is a great sport, a really cool woman, and seriously, great family, salt of the earth. God, I love you, Rich. I talked to him today, and he was so happy and wanted me to let you guys know he loves all of us and loves these shows. And a lot of these people, he says he listens to us at work, and these shows do break up everybody's day and make them laugh and shit like that. And we're just having fun here. Sometimes we underestimate the joy we can give other people, just giving them something different to do and some laughs and learn about new music and shit. So I hope a lot of people check out this extremely racist, pedophile-filled episode. And Rich, I know it's worth the wait, brother.
Yeah. All I gotta say, and I'm speaking for myself, Ian, and Aaron, is how depressing and how bad do we feel knowing that Chris Cisnak is smarter than all three of us, and he's a Pollock.
Yeah.
That's depressing, man.
Damn.
The Sizzler strikes again.
Sizzler, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, what does that say about us?
Oh. Aaron, you got some words you want to say for Rich?
Yeah, man. Just the same as everybody. Thank you guys for supporting podcasts that focus on rock music. It's a cool thing that we've all kind of created a community together over the years where, like you say, it's Decibel Geek and it's Rock and Metal Combat and it's Cobras and Fire and it's In Obscuria and all these podcasts that you see at Rock and Pod and all the people that care about these podcasts that come to Rock and Pod and the friendships. And man, it's a community and it feels like a family because like you say, you talk about like people that go to these shows where they're using tapes or they sound like shit, but they don't care. But there's a certain small elite group of people that do give a fuck, and that's us and that's our listeners, and it shows me that when I was growing up and I would see people, I'd be like, what's your favorite band? And they'd be like, I like whatever's popular. And I'd be like, fuck you. I'm not the only one like that, and I've come to realize over the years, like there's so many people out there that are just like me that really, truly care about the music and want to talk about it and want to dissect it and want to know all the fine details about every awesome album and every awesome band that there's ever been. And to be able to get together, not only with Chris on Decibel Geek, but to be able to team up with you guys and do fun stuff all the time. And man, I love you guys like brothers. And I love everybody that listens to our shows and just a lot of love and a lot of thank you to Rich Canamar for turning me on to this band because, man, like I said, most, if not all, of the songs on this album, I Hate, Therefore I Am by Cyclone Temple, are immediately going into my iPod because this is something that I want to have as a part of my life now because of being introduced to it and giving it a chance and really giving it the deep dive. I appreciate it a lot because it's a damn good album that I otherwise maybe would have never heard of. But thanks to Rich, here we are checking out something that deserves the attention that odds are we might not have ever come across before. So, you know what? If you guys love thrash metal and you check this out and you love it, thank Rich Canamar for making us do it.
Yeah, show some love to him on the Facebook page, and send your sympathies for his wife and everything. That shit's important. And Aaron, thank you so much for making this happen. Really appreciate it. We couldn't have done this one without you. And looking forward to having you back on when the new Ace album comes out.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm looking forward to the next Rockin' Pod when I can crash the interview you do with Steve Brown from Trickster and I can crucify him for what he did to Ace Frehley.
Oh shit! I hope it don't come to that.
I can't wait. That's what I love is like I'm hoping this year at Rockin' Pod you guys finally have a table, and I can come over and crash and talk to you guys and shit because you guys always. You're walking around doing your thing. I want to see you guys at a table this year, and
that's
looking forward to it.
That's supposed to change this next time. We're supposed to have more opportunity just to relax and enjoy the fruits of Rockin' Pod instead of working our butts off the whole time.
Yeah,
definitely want to take advantage of that and be.
Yeah. You think you're going to relax, but wait till you talk to Steve Brown and I show up. It's going down. All right. Sense. Well, I want to thank Aaron, and I want to tell everybody, check, if you haven't, why are you fucking waiting? Check out Decibel Geek. It's like our show, but better. So check it out. This episode we're recording on Saturday. It's going to be up Sunday. You can get it on Podbean, iTunes, however you get your fucking podcast. Also, the video version of this will be up on YouTube tomorrow. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to our YouTube page. Smash that like button. Hit notifications on everything. All that shit. Leave comments. All that stuff helps the YouTube anal rhythms, right, Ralph? Yeah, that's what we need. So thanks again. And until next week, save the children.
Right,
Sammy Hagar. Lock them up.
Thank you again, Aaron. You rock, brother.
Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, Ian. You guys are the fucking best.
That is true. That he made a lot of sense right there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Don't go to the
thank-
Pollock.
Right on. And what is this? Mama Baba Schmackamagob production.
This is Smack Magob Bang Bang Fuck Your Mother podcast productions. Night.
Schmackamagob. Bye.